Cool. So right now I have Hani Mourra with, you know what? The thing with Hani I'm really appreciating is he's always coming out with awesome automation things to make our lives easier. So first it was, well, first for me was Simple Podcast Press, first for me. And now I'm looking at this next thing that he has called Simple Live Press, which allows you to automatically publish blabs to your website. It imports comments and it's pretty fantastic. So Hani, welcome again to the show radio.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it, man. Good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you, of
Been
course, man.
a few months since Podcast Movement.
Yeah, man. We had a good time there. Definitely got a chance to hang out, and I saw your training on the show floor, which is awesome. We got a chance to do that, so it was pretty cool, man. So here we are again, man. I mean, you got something else, okay? something more awesome than the last thing, right? So I'm excited to hear, your thoughts on Simple Live Press, and then we'll dig into that a little bit.
Sounds good. Yeah, these things, when an idea hits me, I just run with it, and then kind of that's what happened with Simple Live Press.
Sweet. So let's start from the beginning. So how did it come about, and what made you decide to do the Blab? Because I know Blab is really hot right now. It seems like everyone is using Blab, as a tool to either podcast, to do the interviews and stuff like that. So what made you decide to use this tool, your next tool for Blab?
Basically, it all started with on International Podcast Day. September 30th, the day before that I did my first Blab, and the next day I did a session on International Podcast Day for about an hour, and everything was on Blab. And I'd never heard of. I mean, I've heard of it. I'd never actually used it. I'm like, oh man, another tool we got to learn, and I don't have time for this. Anyway, I got onto it. I was blown away. I was like, wow, this is super simple, super awesome. Like great concept, great platform to create content and get people together. So instantly I was hooked. Like I did my hour session. There were a ton of people on there, just asking questions. It was, I don't know, I had a great time. And then I think I played around with it the next day after, and then I didn't realize, but they actually send you an email after you've done your recording and said, hey, check it out. You got your replay. Here's your link. Do what you want with it. Embed it on your site, and here's a link to your audio and a link to your video. And instantly, like my first thought, how do I automate this step? And that's kind of what I do. That's what all our softwares do here. It's automating these manual steps in whatever process it is. From Podcast Press, we automate getting it off, Libsyn or whatever, and getting it on your WordPress site. So I thought, there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way. So that's what kind of the light bulb idea hit me then. And then I started doing my research, kind of digging around to find out how we can do this. And I think a couple of days later, I figured out how to do it. And it was just literally jumped straight into the code. I was so excited. I was like, I'm jumping right in. I'm making this happen as soon as possible. So the whole idea here is you can really hands-free take all your recordings off of Blab and have an individual page on your site for each of those Blabs. The video will be embedded, the replay video from Blab, and so come cool buttons below for people to listen to the audio version. We got people to subscribe to you and follow you on Blab. You got an email opt-in box, and all these discussions that you see on, hope I got the right side, this side here. Depends which way you're looking. That way. All these comments will be native WordPress comments on your site. So
I have a quick question. I have a quick question for you before you continue. Did you have to wait for Blab to get to a certain point in their development for you to do what you had to do to create the plugin itself?
No, basically just by I don't know, just my knowledge of how software works and web software works, and I just knew, like, if there's an automated system that sends email out, there's got to be a way to get access to that information. So it was already, by the time I started using it, it was already, once the emails were coming out, I knew that it was possible. So basically you're creating instant content on your website, and you don't even need to log into your WordPress site if you don't want to. So you can set it up on total autopilot. You click the button, it goes to publish as a WordPress site, a WordPress post on your site, it's done. Like you can be literally on your phone, you can be blabbing from anywhere, and you can have content on your site. So just that full automation got me excited, and that's I'm all about automation.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely fantastic. Another thing I did notice that you mentioned on the website is because Google loves SEO and written, natural written language. The fact that there's an organic conversation that happens in the chat, it just makes perfect sense to actually import that information right onto your WordPress site as well.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to really, really help you with search engine rankings. And people know how hard it is to get anyone to leave a comment, right? On your blog, it's hard, right? People don't, I don't know why they don't do it, but you instantly get all these discussions as native WordPress comments. And to me, it was actually interesting because I was doing a few blabs before I released the software and before it was actually done. And I was talking about this feature, and I was thinking, this is before they added the chat on the embed replay. I was thinking of making my own little chat box and just kind of replicate the chats. And then I was bouncing the idea off somebody, and I said, you know what? Do it as comments. That's really going to help your SEO. And I looked into it. I'm like, yeah, that's definitely the way to go. So definitely, I'm glad I went that route.
Very cool. So how is there a way for you to test to make sure that those comments are actually affecting your SEO? Is that Google Analytics stuff, or is there a way to test that to make sure that traffic is actually coming in because of the comments?
Because it's, to be honest, it's very difficult because you can't pinpoint if it's the comments that are doing it. But the Google likes is there's people visiting your site, and B, that there's activity on your site, and B, that people are sticking around, C, people are sticking around on your site. So the on-page time, and also the bounce rate, which is when people come in, do they stay or do they leave? Comments on your site just shows that there's some social engagement, that people land on this page and are actually in the right place. So Google's whole purpose is when you look for something, they want to serve you what you're looking for. They don't want to serve you something that you don't want. So social engagement, the discussions, these comments, on-page time, how long they stay on your page, and the bounce rate. Those are kind of the factors that Google, at least nowadays, is looking for.
Okay, so cool. So in terms of how long did it take you to get it from start to finish? What was the process of you developing Simple Live Press? How long did it take?
From the time I got the idea, before I figured out how to do it, that was, I guess, September 30th, and we launched on the 18th. What's today? I lost track of time. Today's the 19th. We launched on Tuesday, so about a week. What, the 13th? It was the 13th of October. So yeah, 13 days, 2 weeks. I went from idea to figuring out how to do it, to coding it up, and just getting all the pieces, getting people interested, talking about it on Blabs, getting some excitement around it, and launching it. So all that process took 2 weeks. I was literally like pushed everything off to the side. I said, just focus, get this done. And I just ran with the idea, and whatever happened. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I just ran with the idea, and I'm glad I did. I mean, it's been a very interesting journey so far. I've met a lot of people. Like, a lot of people have reached out to me, invited me. Like I met you beforehand, but
of course,
I'm doing a lot of blabs talking about this product. It's great for me. It's great for people to find out, to know about it. And I've met a lot of people that are doing pretty cool things with Blab as well. So it's great. It's great. Cool. And a lot of podcasters are using Blab now. So that's where I have a lot of friends in the podcasting space. So this is kind of a great, complementary tool for them.
Yeah, definitely. So Corey asked a question in the chat. So I guess however you want to take that, the angle you want to go with that, it says, has anyone developed a way to upload PowerPoint or video into a seat or chair? I don't know how you want to address that.
That's a great question. The short answer is no. But you can do screen sharing with some add-on software. There's one called manycam.com. So you can I can share my screen right now. It's not very clear, right? Because Blab is a very small box. But there's no kind of an official way of uploading a PowerPoint. I've heard people have two accounts. So they would have a session with themselves under both accounts, and then one account could be the screen share of their PowerPoint, and one account could be them on one side, so they can technically be presenting a screen and themselves on the same Blab. But it's a bit of a hack, to be honest. There's no official way. It kind of works, but it's no official way as far as I know. But I'm sure that will come. A lot of people want to do screen share, share their PowerPoint, share videos, that kind of stuff.
Very cool. Okay, my next question for you is the audio that it's opening up into the new window. Is that on Blab's side, or is that something separate? Where's the audio being pulled from?
Yeah, the audio is being pulled from the Blab site.
Okay.
So the Blab sends you three things. Just forget about the plugin now. Like as soon as you do your recording, you get three things by email. You get the MP3 link, you get the MP4 link, the video link,
right,
and you get the embed code to embed the replay on your site. So we take advantage of the audio, and we link it up below the player so someone can click, a pop-up comes up, and they can listen to the audio version. And the idea being is you want them to stay on your site, right? So They want them to navigate, explore other parts of your site. So the pop-up comes up, they can still listen, and then they can still continue navigating. So it's good. It's good for you. It's good for someone from your audience to learn more about you without having to turn off the Blab. For example, they can continue listening in the audio version. So that's kind of the idea behind it.
Very cool. So I know you mentioned bounce rate before. What is the ideal bounce rate that you're looking for in terms of numbers, in your experience?
Oh, that's a tough question. I'm not going to claim I'm an SEO expert.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Is it under 70? Is it under 80? I know it's not necessarily close to like 95 and up there. And I don't consider myself an SEO expert either, but what is the range typically from what you've seen is you want to shoot for, if you could?
I'm not even going to answer that question. I don't even have a ballpark. I don't want to make up something.
Okay. All right. So then we'll do that. We'll do that. That's cool. So ways to keep people on your website. Obviously, we can do that with Simple Live Press, and we can also do that with Simple Podcast Press. So elaborate on those, the additional features that you have for Simple Live Press.
Yeah. So Simple Live Press, you have a replay on your site. So you get people on your site.
Right.
What's your goal here? Typically, hopefully, you're trying to build up an email list, and that's what a lot of content producers want to do. They want to build up an email list, whether you're doing podcasts, live broadcasts, blabs, whatever it is you're creating. You want to get people on your email list, and that is one of the main purposes, one of the main focuses of Simple Live Press is to add an email opt-in box directly below the player. So when someone's watching a Blab replay, their eyes are focused on the replay, on the video, and the email opt-in box is directly below that. So that's the idea here, is to get people, help grow your email list at the same time. And this is the kind of thing that you set up once. So you set up, you connect it to your Aweber, GetResponse, or Infusionsoft, whatever you're using. You connect it with that, and then automatically the email opt-in will show up below the player. And the whole idea is your eyes are here on the replay. The email opt-in is directly below that.
Very cool. So I definitely want to say if there's anybody in the chat that wants to come in and ask Hani Mourra specific questions about Simple Live Press, just let me know. Just say yes or no in the chat. If you have a specific question you want to say in the chat only, let me know. I am looking at the chat. But what I definitely want to do here today is highlight all the features for Simple Live Press. And then also, I know we're going to talk about the tiers of entry, if you will, that you have for the service. So if you have any questions, just mention them in the chat. I'm looking at the chat, and then we'll go from there. So you did mention the email opt-in box. What about lead pages? What are you doing with that?
Yeah, that's one thing. A lot of people are starting to use lead pages. So we wanted, above the email opt-in, we have a bunch of buttons. We have buttons to listen to the audio. We have a button for follow me on Blab. And we have 6 custom buttons. So you can send people anywhere you want. Like if you have a course that you're selling or a product you're offering, you can say, click here to buy my course. And it will open up that page. And then I thought, well, a lot of people use lead pages, and especially the lead box. The lead box is that It's very subtle. It kind of pops up beautifully, cleanly on top of your page. People opt in and they close it, and then they continue doing what they're doing. So they're not taken away from your site. So we integrated the lead box as one of the buttons. So you can go to lead pages, copy the code they give you, drop it into the simple live press settings, and then one of those buttons will be a lead box. So it's pretty slick, pretty like beautiful looking integration without any code. You just kind of copy from lead pages, paste it into simple live press.
Very cool. Question for you coming from Mansion Twit. And it says, could there be any conflicts with other email forms? I use Appendipity Podcast Pro theme, which has its own sign-up form on every page.
Yeah, we work with Simple Podcast Press. We work with Joey and those guys very closely. So with Appendipity theme. So you can have as many email opt-in boxes. They're all independent. There's no issues with conflict. And you can turn off the email opt-in box as well. You don't have to have the email opt-in box on Simple Live Press. So if you have another one somewhere else on your sidebar on the bottom, you can keep Simple Live Press. It's all good. There's no conflicts. They're completely independent. Or you can shut it off if you don't want to. You can turn off the buttons if you don't want to. So it's fully customizable. The colors are customizable, the buttons. So you have control. It's got to fit your theme, like your look and feel, your brand. So we don't tie you down to what you need. We don't force anything on you. You have the choice to customize it.
So for the categories for when it imports, is it pre-populated categories? How does it deal with the categories?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, people have a lot of content on their site. They have videos, they have podcasts, they have live. I've seen a lot of people have a menu called live or live broadcasts. So you can, in WordPress, you can keep things organized by just assigning a category to whatever page on your WordPress. So if I'm writing a blog post, I'm going to say category blog. So I make my own categories. As the WordPress site owner, I can make my own categories, call them whatever I want. And so I can assign all my blabs automatically put them into one single category. Most people call it blab or live. And then you can, just part of WordPress, you can add it to your menu. So when someone clicks a live live broadcast, it will just show only those blog posts that are live. So the idea here is you keep your site organized, you keep your content organized, and then you add menu items across the top. So the menu items are just part of your regular WordPress theme. We just help you organize your posts, and you automatically give it a category so that it's nice and clean and organized on your site.
Very cool. So how does it deal with callers? I'm here with you, and let's say two other people show up. How does it deal with the callers that were, featured on the actual production, if you will?
Yeah, that's another good question. So one thing I thought of was some people like full automation. So they don't want to even log into their site. So I thought, what kind of information can we put in the body of the post automatically? Because we don't have a lot of information. It's not like a podcast where you have like a description or anything. There's nothing to type in to Blab. You just put a title and then you say go. So what we did was we're able to find out all the callers who are on the show, and there'll be a default text that says, this is a replay of the live broadcast with Andrew, Hani, and whoever else pops in and out here. It'll be just kind of a default text that shows up as your main content for your post. So you have something there to start with. Of course, you can delete it if you don't want it. You can delete that text and enter your own show notes, your own kind of detailed description. But it's there for people who want to have something.
Very cool. So now I know that there's certain file sizes for different WordPress plugin. What's the size of this plugin, and does it drag? You know what I mean? Like, what's the footprint of the actual plugin? Is it light? Is it medium size? Or what's your take on that?
I don't know how you categorize it, but it's not light. Like, it's not like it's because it does a lot of things. It's doing things continuously. So okay. I would say in a medium category. It's under the whole file under, I think, 700 kilobytes. So from a file perspective, it's not heavy. But because it's doing stuff continuously on your site. So every hour, every time you publish a blab, every hour is checking for a new update, and it's doing work on your site. So, but the amount of memory it takes, I can't give you exact specs. We didn't actually look at it, but we're very careful about, bogging down your site. We do the same thing with our other plugins. So we've kind of got it figured out to be as streamlined as possible. And so we kind of check almost like a feed. There's a feed that comes from Blab. We check a text feed. All right, do we have new content? Yeah, let's pull it in. Let's create the post and do that. So one thing I wanted to talk about is how this whole process works. Like let's say you bought the plugin, you installed it, you activate it. Now what? Like, how do you set it up? How does it work? We call all our plugins simple something press because they're designed to be simple. And you start off by putting your Twitter ID or your Twitter handle, and then you decide whether you want auto publish or you want draft, like a draft post on your site. And then you pick the category, whatever category you want, and you scroll to the bottom and you say import now. So import now sucks in all your existing episodes, recordings, creates a unique page on everyone, imports all the comments, all the embeds. You're rocking, you're golden. Going forward, you don't need to go down and press import now. Going forward, as soon as you're done, you stop recording here. We say within the hour because it's depending on when you're done the recording, when the replay is processed by Blab. So within the hour at the most, you will have a page on your site ready to go. And if you can't wait that long, you can always log in, scroll down, and hit that import now button, and it will pull that single episode down for you, create it, and you can go ahead and edit it.
Very cool. Very cool. So it'll only pull what's hasn't been pulled. It won't do a whole pull. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It only checks what's new, and it creates, and it's always checking what's on your site. So we avoid duplication on your site.
Very cool. So right now I'm talking with Hani Mourra. You can find him at simplelivepress.com. He's doing amazing things specifically with this plugin and even with Simple Podcast Press, which is amazing as well. So what are the tiers that you're offering for the Simple Live Press plugin?
Right now, we had our founder special. Basically, we relaunched it on Tuesday. Actually, yesterday, Sunday night, midnight Eastern time, is when that kind of the lowest price went off. But when we first launched it, it was a single license. And get one license. I didn't realize how many people have multiple sites. So within hours or a day later, people were saying, listen, I have multiple sites. I want multiple licenses. How do I get it? So what we have now is this one license for a single site, 5 licenses, and 10 licenses. So you can buy 1, 5, 10, and depending on your needs. And that basically means 1 website, 5 websites, 10 websites. So at the moment, it's always a 1-to-1 ratio where you have one Blab channel hooked up to 1 website. Down the road, if there's demand for it, we might have multiple channels feeding into 1 website. So if you have multiple authors, multiple creators, but right now it's 1 channel per 1 website.
So now, in terms of the response that you was it overwhelming? Because I know a lot of individuals are hitting you up and asking you about the plugin and things like that. Are there already updates that you already see that you're going to implement fairly quickly because of the response? Can you share them or some of the things that you're planning?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, there's one big one that came up, and it was a bit controversial in a sense, and I didn't even mean it to be controversial. But what happened was people, for some reason, misunderstood maybe the way I was presenting it on, I guess on the launch. So when we launched on Tuesday, Blab has not yet announced this live embed feature where you can embed your live player. But I was able to find a way to do it. So while we actually broadcasted, if you went to simplelivepress.com, you would see us live, and so people were pretty excited about that. But that's not a feature built into the plugin yet. Okay? But that's something we discovered a few hours before we went live. And I figured it was coming soon because if we were able to do it, obviously they're going to make it's available to the public. So. But the unique thing is, if you do it manually, if you were to do it now, you would have to copy this URL across the top, make a page, paste it in, send people to that page. Next time you go live, make another page or update that page, put the new put the new URL, etc. So what we're trying to do is have that automated. So you can go to HaniMourra.com/live, just one single page. You always send people to that same page, and that will always show your latest live broadcast as you're broadcasting live. So we're trying to figure out how to get that running. That's something people are excited about, and we're planning on rolling it out hopefully this week. It's just going to be one of our first updates that we do.
Very cool. Very cool. So I know we're winding down on time. I definitely want to ask you this question. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you wish I asked you while I had you here today?
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
I think we did pretty good, right?
I think we did good. I think we did good.
I think we covered the basis of most of the things going on right now. So as far as like the plugin is out now, everyone can go and they can go grab it and stuff like that. I'm sure it's compatible with all the latest WordPress versions, and things of that nature. So where can they find you? And I guess we can wrap up, man, because I'm not going to hold you up because I know you have things to do. So where can they find you, and where can they find Simple Live and Simple Podcast Press?
Yeah, you can check out simplelivepress.com. That's where the Blab plugin is, or simplepodcastpress.com if you're starting a podcast as well. Facebook and Twitter are those are the places where I hang out. So it's just facebook.com/Hani Mourra, HANIMOURRA, or twitter.com/Hani Mourra. Those are the two places where I mostly hang out.
Very cool. So Hani, man, thank you so much, man. Thank you for taking the time, man. Always a pleasure, man.
Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate it.